Welcome to day 8 of the 12 days of Claudemas. And what we've been doing over the last 7 days is we've been building this application called FlyGen. And we started off by creating a couple of brains, a primary brain and a second brain. And everything we've been doing has been done using Claude code and vibe coding techniques. For the last 4 days, we've been working on the creatives. So we did image generation. After that, we did text to speech, video generation, and yesterday we created our own songs. Now, as we move out of the creative into the integration, what I'm considering is the idea of creating some sort of compound tool that could build thumbnails for me. Now, if you look at thumbnails on the Appy Dave channel, they generally follow this simple formula. I'm not looking to create a replacement for Canva, but I think I can start down the path of having a full-blown thumbnail generator. And when I look at what we've got here, where we've got this logo, we've got this little shape, and we've got these shapes down behind, what I can see is that we've got one square which can be rendered probably using HTML. Because other than the logo itself, everything else is just a square on different angles. After that, we just need to have a frame somewhere where we can inject an image. Now, the next part is what is the thumbnail text that we're going to show. Normally what we've got is maybe 1 or 2 of these little panels, and the panels will be in one of the 3 brand colors, which will be the light brown, the dark brown, or the yellow. And then there will be a contrasting color sitting on top of it with the BMAD new font. So layer 1 is going to be some sort of background that we can use for a template. Layer 2 will be the area where we can put our main image that takes up the bulk of the screen. Layer 3 will be somewhere where we can put different types of thumbnail text, each with different contrasting color panels. And layer 4 will either be an image of me or an image of the concept being talked about. What we're going to need is some sort of requirements based on everything I just talked about. We'll come into Claude Code as usual, and we'll just do progress, and we'll just see where Claude Code thinks we're up to. It understands that we worked on FR11, which was the music generator. What we're doing today is working on the thumbnail generator. Now, to come up with our requirements today, what I thought we'd do is do a little bit of a planning mode directly in that window, but rather than having to type everything, what I thought we could do is introduce you to Interrupt. Now, Interrupt is something that we'll be talking about tomorrow. And this is the idea of, can we get information or context for our applications from other applications? Now, as I've been recording this video, another application that I vibe coded, being FlyHub, has been taking copies of each of these recordings. And what it's been doing is building up a bit of a chapter list, and it's been building up a bunch of transcripts. And so the good thing is, if we were to actually read those transcripts and put them into Claude, we would have all the context we need for this application, because I've been talking about it through the beginning of this video. We'll come back to the FlyHub system. The last recording I just did, we'll do a rename on it at the moment. We'll discard one that wasn't really relevant, and it's just popped in here in planning. This is what we're doing. Right now, a transcription should be kicking in. And if we wanted to watch that video, we could come over here. Now, to get started, what we're going to need is some sort of requirements based on everything I just talked about. So we'll come to, and we can see that that recording is definitely sitting there being transcribed right now. And we've got 2 ways we could gather the information from this application and use it in the other one. So we could go and just get the transcript here, copy and paste it. This is the way we're going to do it today. But tomorrow, what I'm going to do is show you how we can use skills directly in the Claude terminal to get the same information. So let's start our planning with a simple prompt that goes, can you read the following transcript? And what you're trying to do is assess what sort of requirements, or at least the mock interface that we would like to build for a thumbnail generator. And we'll just pop that in. And what I'm going to do is just do a paste. And so now everything that we've said in the video should actually be coming in as context. You can see at the beginning, it says, welcome to day 8 of the 12 days of Claudemas. That's how I started. And then we got into the requirements and the planning that we've been talking about. So now we've got these ideas that we discussed. We've got layer 1 for the background template. Layer 2 is the image that fits on the template. Layer 3 are any text panels, and layer 4 is an overlay image. Now, the first thing is we need this background template. So what I've done is taken a screenshot of it. It's called image 2 here. And we'll just say image 2 happens to be the background template that we want to use. Don't worry about the logo. Be more aware of the 3 different colored blocks that we got there. The first one being dark brown, then we've got the light brown, and the third one dark brown. And if you actually want to know the colors, then can you go and read my branding guidelines to learn what the dark brown and the light brown color actually are. So we'll put that in, and that should use a skill to find that information. Next, I want it to understand this background image. I've just pasted in image 3 and we'll say, I've given you image 3. That shows you exactly how one of the images that we want to use on top of the template would look. We'll just paste that in there. Now what I'm doing is I'm pasting in image number 4, and with 4 in, what we've got is this little image that we show on top of the background. So we'll come back to the conversation and say, please note that layer 1, the background is fixed in position. Note that layer 2, which is the image that we put on top, is also fixed in position. I've now given you image 3, and what that is the image that we want to put somewhere on the page. But please remember that I've also told you this out of order because that's for layer 4. Now, I probably should come back and edit this for that particular issue, but we'll keep going. And for layer 3, what we're putting on is the thumbnail text. So when you do the thumbnail text, you'll notice that it can come in different background colors and foreground colors. So these colors need to be configurable. You can also see that the text is a little bit different in each of them. That needs to be configurable, and we can have up to 3 of these panels. So we'll just paste in that part of the prompt. And what we'll do is we'll take a screenshot of one of these and come down and just paste that in as image 5. And the last part of this prompt should be, can you look through this information and come up with the shape of the data that we'd probably have to have? Are there any fields? Are there any checkboxes? How would you configure this? And then can you just create a simple little mock for me in an ASCII layout? And we'll just put that in, and let's see what happens when it reads that information. So the first thing it's done for us is come up with the colors from my brand system. Now, if we pop over to Canva for a second, you'll be able to see that that is actually correct, as I have it in Canva as well. And that's because I have it documented in the system, and there's a skill that can go and grab that information whenever I need. It's come up with some sort of idea for the configuration, the structure of it, and then it's presenting to us an ASCII mock. So we got the thumbnail generator. Now, ASCII doesn't really give us a great representation of the shapes, but this feels right. We've got generate a PNG, download, reset. This sounds good. And then we've got all this configuration going on the right. So what we have so far is kind of an understanding of how the layout could work, the configuration. We also have an understanding of how the different layers of the thumbnail could work. And we know from yesterday when we were working with the music generator that one of the skills from Anthropic, the front-end design, I think it was called, kicked in and helped to build a better design for us. What I think we'll do is, while we're still in the planning mode, I might just put in a prompt that says, can you use the front-end design skill and consolidate all this information around the design of what the edit space looks like, the screen where we're doing all the editing, and also an understanding of all the 4 layers and the way thumbnails, the way I create them, are all layered together. So we'll put that in place. Let's see what Claude Code comes up with. There it is kicking in right now. This is the front-end design skill. And that skill will be able to articulate how to do a user experience and the UI much better than I can. I like this idea here. So the professional composter aesthetic, it's Figma meets After Effects. We're going to have some sort of layer stack. It's gone and built something for us. UI, let's just see what that could look like. We'll come over to our application and we are on day 8, and hey, look at that. That is pretty good. I wonder if it works. So can I drag stuff? No, I can't drag stuff. It's like we can drag an image. Let's click on the background. So nothing's editable, but we do have the configured values correct. So it wouldn't be a hard task to change this. or maybe have some sort of theme that we could drop down when we get to the text panels. Let's see what happens if we change it. Okay, so it's not a drag and drop. It's going to be a position as you need it to be. So we'll go and change that one. Let's see what happens with an overlay image. We'll enable it. I think we'll go and add a background. So to test the background image, we'll click on this button. And what we'll do is we'll just go to a folder where I put a file called 1PNG. And what it is just a screenshot of what we're seeing on the screen already. We'll go and change our text panels. We've got Claude code up in the top. Can we change the color of it? Oh, we can. And we'll change this to say thumbnail generator, and we will also move that up to the top center, I guess. I was just about to move this to the right, and the drop down, which you can't see in the video, didn't have it. So I've just asked it to go and make a change for me. We'll come back. And I now have a top right, so we'll see what happens. That just worked. This is great. Now in updating the code, it cleared everything. So we don't have persistence, which we haven't been doing in these sessions anyway. But what we can do is get ourselves back up and running. We've got our thumbnail generator, which we'll put in the middle, and we will make it yellow as a background, and we'll try a black as a foreground. And we will take Claude code and put it over on the right. And then the last area would be some sort of overlay image, which might be an image of me. But what we'll do is we'll just head down to ChatGPT, and I've said, can you just summarize into 150 words what we've already talked about in this video? And so we've got that information. I'm just going to copy it. And I've just come over to ChatGPT where I've said, can you come up with 3 image prompts based on the information here? Now, ChatGPT has come up with some design ideas, and we've got this thumbnail stack, layout tool, or brand panels. I think that's the one I want to download. So we'll come back over here. It looks like we've got to enable it. We'll just click here, and it's to foreground. Let's see what happens if we load that in. So it's made a slight mistake in that what it's done is thought of it more like the logo, what I told it not to do. But this is actually really interesting in its own right. It's even got some sort of a scale. That's pretty cool. I think that's enough for day 8. We've got a thumbnail generator. There's plenty I could do to extend it. There's a few improvements that I would love to make with it. But the great thing is that we vibe coded that in about an hour. That's the power of using Claude Code and vibe coding. If you're interested in more advanced forms of coding using context engineering and maybe something like the BMAD method, then check out the videos on my channel or join the skill community. There is a link down in the description. I'm Happy Dave. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.